Good morning. It's 9 o'clock Central. It's Wednesday, so I am live. On Wednesdays, we talk about wellness. Today, I have some things that I want to talk about as far as maybe mental wellness, emotional wellness, and setting yourself up for the very best situation that you can have moving forward for the rest of this year. Good morning, Nicole. I've missed you. I know you've been super busy just like I have, but I haven't seen you for a little while in the stream. It's great to see you here this morning. Good morning. Good morning, Rob. So today, because it is the 1st of July, I want to just talk about something that's called the fresh start phenomenon. It's probably got a better name than what I've just called it, but the fresh start phenomenon, which was actually coined by Dr. Katie Milkman. She's one of my favorite behavioral economists. You know that I love these guys. But Katie has done a lot of studies as far as the fact that we do better if we can line our goals up to a date that's important for us. We're starting that fresh piece of time. So this fresh start might be that I'm choosing to start new goals on my birthday because it's a new year for me. This is why so many people make New Year's resolutions, because it's a new year. People might start their new goals with the start of spring or the start of summer or their anniversary date or some date that is relevant to them. This is also why we see so many people starting their diets and their new health routines on Monday, the start of a new week. So not only is this the start of a new month, July 1st, but it is also the start of the second half of this year. And I don't know, about you, but I'm pretty sure that I can say this is universal. It's across the board. Our lives look a lot different right now than they did when we started this year. So we may have gone into 2020 thinking that we were going to do this and that, and we had all of these plans, and those plans, for the most part, didn't happen because we had a global pandemic and we've got a lot of social unrest that's happening, and there are just a lot of things that are going on right now that are outside of our control. And so I want to talk about not reacting to the things that are happening, but having a plan. Now, we, again, may have made a plan in January, right? But things didn't happen the way that we thought. And that definitely does happen all the time. It's different things that might derail us from our plans or cause us to have to reassess. But there's always something that may come in that causes us not to be able to go down that straight and narrow path that maybe we set up for ourselves. By reacting, we're always behind because you can't react to something until it happens. And if it's already happened, then it's just really difficult to get back on track or to the word that we're using today is pivot, and to be honest, I'm a little tired of the word, which is why I'm hesitant to use it. But pivot is what we've had to do. So certainly, my life, my income, my work has been going out and doing live classes for people, talking to them about their retirement and their benefits and supervision and leadership and all of the things that I've been able to teach in the classroom. Clearly, I can't do that right now. I did not know in January that I would not be able to go out and teach classes come April or May, but that's what happened. So I had to pivot in creating all of my online classes. And you might think that that's an easy transition, but I can tell you it isn't. Oh my goodness. Creating these online classes, or rather being able to manage them, is so much more work than it was just showing up and teaching a class, because now I have to do registration, and that's a multi-step process, and now I have to find a platform that all of the agencies can access, which is very difficult. I have to use a browser that all of the agencies can access, which is very difficult. So it required a pivot to move from the live environment to the virtual environment, and then a new pivot every single time I've had to learn new software. And so far, I've had to pay for 6 different licenses to get on 6 different platforms to make it work for my clients, for my customers. It's what you do, right? But I'll tell you, it's a lot easier. If and luckily I did start this way before all of the things happened, way before COVID-19. I knew that I needed to be ready to go into the virtual environment. And so I'd started working on it, and I'd started dabbling in it, and I'd started moving in that direction. The only difference is that then I had to do it really, really quickly. But by having that plan up front, it made it easier. It wasn't just an unknown. It was, oh my goodness, okay, now it's got to happen. Now I can't drag my feet anymore. Now I can't wait anymore. So I want to ask you, if we're starting this new month and this new period of time, and it's better for us to have some plan that we can pivot if we need to, we can change if we need to, but we don't just want to be reactionary. What do you see for yourself in this next 6 months? Where do you want to be able to look back on December 31st and say, okay, I went from there to here? What are your goals? What's your vision for yourself? You need to think about it. And it's a really, really good idea to write that down as well. So you're already at an advantage by starting on the first of a new month, by starting on the first period of a new time in this year. If you write it down, you're more successful at reaching those goals as well. So we know that there's all kinds of science that proves that. So I just want to put that out there. You want to give yourself the most advantages that you possibly can. So by writing it down, there's another one. By making sure that you're setting your goals out in a smart construct, there's another advantage for you. And we've talked about that on the stream before. And again, I know that's been overused as well, depending on where you are in industry, but it works. Make your goals specific. Not, I want to save money for retirement, but how much? Not, I want to get healthy, but how are you going to do that? You're going to exercise 3 times a week. You're going to drink more water. You're going to eat more protein. You're going to save X amount of dollars in this next month and X amount of dollars in this next quarter. That's what I mean by specific. There should be something that's measurable, because you don't want to get to the end of the year and go, nah, I feel like I met my goal. Yeah, I kind of like, it's just a gut feeling. I did what I kind of wanted to do. No, I want you to be able to actually measure that, to go, look, I said that I was going to cut my expenses by 10% and I did that, or I didn't, right? That's the measurement piece. It needs to be aligned to your own mission and your own goals. So again, if you're sitting down now and you're saying at the end of the year, I want to be here, then you set goals along that path that are relevant to what you actually want to accomplish. You can set a million goals and they can be all wonderful and great and very admirable things, but do they have anything to do with where you're trying to go? Because if they don't, they're not the goals for you. Align to this vision. They have to be realistic. Again, we've talked about that, right? The chances of you saving $1.2 million by December 31st for your retirement, yeah, that'd be nice, but is it really going to happen? Is that a realistic goal? Or would it be more realistic for you to say, I'd like to have $1,200 saved for retirement? Time basis is important as well. And that's where you're saying, it is by the end of this month. It's by the end of this quarter. It's by the end of this year. You've got to tie it to an end game, because that motivates you to keep moving. I know for me that's true. If I say I'm going to do X, but it's wide open, there's no date for that, then yeah, I'm going to do it, but it's not important today, and it's not important this week, and it's not important this month. And so it keeps getting pushed off and pushed off and pushed off and pushed off. And who cares? Because I haven't set an end date. So having that date that I can focus on to go, oh my gosh, this is coming up. Like I said, I was going to do this by the end of the month. And look, now it's the 28th. I haven't done it. I better get on it. It's just a little extra push. Again, giving myself the most advantages I possibly can. So Rob, getting my online business started and up and running, that's awesome. That's awesome. Good for you. And setting that's your goal for this year. That's awesome. Nicole, maintaining a balance and not digressing. And balance can be really tricky, Nicole, right? Because sometimes, your balance, and I know you've got a lot of stuff going on, sometimes life is going to be unbalanced. That's just the way it is. So I don't want you to be demoralized by the fact that you said, I wanted to maintain balance and now it's all over here and it's all over there, because sometimes that does happen. But if you can identify for yourself what balance means, and I know this is hard for you too, Nicole, but just because I know you, right? What does balance mean, and what's going to be good enough? Because I don't want you to set that expectation of being the perfectionist, and now any little diversion from your plan to be on this straight and narrow balanced path is going to just throw you into a tailspin. I don't want that to happen. So balance is okay, but I think it would be better if you can identify for yourself what you mean by balance and what's going to be good enough. Like, here's the optimal. This would be awesome. But if it isn't this, if it's at least that, I'm going to be okay. And that's what I would challenge you to do as far as setting up that balance thing. Rob, creating a goals book. That's awesome. Because again, when we set goals, if we don't keep them at the top of our mind, they get buried under life, right? So much stuff happens. So you have to have a way to bring them into the present day. And we know that too. It's a behavioral economics theory. It's called present day bias. We focus more on the today versus the tomorrow. So how do you bring your goal into today? You look at it once in a while. You have your goal book, Rob. That's awesome. And then you set an appointment with yourself to sit down and review those goals periodically. Whatever works for you, whether that's once a week, whether that's once a month, but you actually get that book out and you go through it and you're pivoting and you're realigning those goals. And maybe you're saying, you know what, I thought that this was going to be my main goal by the end of the year, but it actually turns out that this is going to be a better way for me to go. And that's okay. That's not giving up on your goal. That's recalculating. That's looking at maybe a new way that you're going to actually get to that goal and keeping it in the present day, the top of mind. Yeah, good enough. And that doesn't mean that you're not going to set really, really great and wonderful goals for yourself, Nicole. It just means that you understand that some things are outside of your control. And so you do, what you can do, and keep moving down that path. That's another piece of this goal setting too, right? I can make up these goals. I can write down these goals. They can be smart. They can be wonderful. They can be awesome things. But if I'm not taking consistent steps to accomplish those goals, they're not going to happen. Sometimes those steps are really, really small. Right? And again, this can be for everything. That's maybe I've set a goal to compete in a powerlifting competition. I did. I had 2 of them. They got canceled because of COVID-19. It happens, right? But does that mean that I give up on my goal, my ultimate goal of being healthy and being strong? No. It just means that, okay, now I'm getting a new program. Now I have extra time that I can work on gaining strength before I have to go and compete and show that strength. It's okay. That's a recalculation. But I show up every day. I show up every day that I have a workout. And I'm not working out every single day. It's not 7 days a week. But I do get my strength workouts in 4 times a week, whether I feel like it or not. Whether I'm putting in 100% or maybe 50% is all I can swing today. But I show up and I show up and I show up. And every single one of those is a step towards getting to that ultimate goal. And those steps add up. Right? You don't go out one day and run a marathon. You go out one day, you start walking, and then you start walking and jogging, and then maybe you're jogging more than you're walking, and you're building and you're building and you're building and you're building, and those steps are important with every goal that we set. The goals book will have a list of objectives, tracking progress, daily progress steps. and the overall vision printed at the beginning of the book. Charts, the whole 9 yards. Yes, I know that you love that kind of stuff as much as I do, Rob. So that's awesome. That's awesome. That's going to work really well for you. Now, if you're the kind of person who doesn't like all of that and it's just a little bit overwhelming for you, you don't have to do it the same way Rob's going to do it. You don't have to do it the same way I'm going to do it. It can be pretty informal if that's the kind of person you are, but you do still need to have some of those steps built in to go, okay, here's ultimately where I'm going, and this is that specific goal that I've set for yourself. And if you can only do one, cool, do it. You don't have to have the big book like Rob does, like I do. You might not love that stuff as much as we do, and that's okay. We're all different. You're a details guy. Yeah, I know that about you, Rob, and I love that because me too. And I would say, like, for the most part, right? You said hi to Robert Lee. I didn't see Robert pop in here, but Rob, if you're here, I want to say hi to you too. Good morning. Um, Here's the thing, right? And I can talk. I've got a lot going on in my life right now. Who doesn't? Who doesn't? But one of the major things that I have going on, we're getting ready to do PCS. That's a permanent change of station. My husband's in the military, has been for a long time. And every couple of years we have to move. Now, the Packers are coming here next week. So I know that. I don't have time this week to get ready for all of that because I'm teaching. I've got a lot of other stuff going on, but that's in the back of my mind. I know they're coming. So I can either wait until the Packers are knocking on the door to go, crap, I've got to have this stuff set aside because I'm not going to have any of my stuff for a little while, right? It's going to be going in a truck. I still need to have clothes for the next few weeks. I still need to have my computer, some things set up for the next few weeks. So I'm going to have to set that off to one side because if I don't, when the Packers come in, they pack. Like, they pack everything that is sitting out. And if you're a military family, I know that you understand this. So we've got to have our stuff that we want set off to one side, locked in a room, put in a closet with a, don't come in here. We've got crime tape across the door or whatever, because otherwise that stuff's going to be packed. And then I'm going to have to live without that for a couple of weeks. So I can wait until the Packers are knocking on the door and then run around the house like a crazy woman just getting this stuff and putting it in the closet. Or I can set up some time for myself this weekend to go, okay, Debbie, no matter how busy you are, you need to take 2 hours. You need to go around the house on Saturday. You need to get all your stuff. You need to put it in the closet so that you can prepare. And again, that's okay, right? I didn't do it 6 months ahead of time. I didn't do it a year ahead of time, but I'm going to do it before they're knocking on my door. And that's what you need to think about when you're setting that vision and those goals for yourself. Again, if you're more of a kind of relaxed person, that's okay. That's okay. But don't wait until they're knocking on your door. Don't wait until you're ready to go into retirement. Don't wait until, oh my gosh, now the date is here and I didn't do anything that I said that I was going to. Nicole, you make me laugh. They will pack your trash can with trash in it. Yes, they will. I've had that happen. And I mean, unless you are a military family and you've experienced this, like, you can't even believe the kind of stuff that's happened. Yes, they have packed my trash can with trash in the can. That is a true statement. Oh, Robert, good. Okay, I'm sorry that you were having some problems with your keyboard, but I'm glad that you got it fixed. I'm glad that you are here and popped in this morning. Thank you very much for that. So, I think I've made my... Okay, one other thing I want to say here. One other thing that I want to say here, and that is that, writing down my goals and making my plan and saying I'm going to do this, right? Great, great, great. That's step one. Know where you're going. Step two, take consistent steps to get there, even if they're tiny little steps, even if they're just showing up today, but not accomplishing a whole lot. When you're looking at your list, pick one thing, just one tiny little thing, so that you can, at the end of the day, say, yeah, I did something, right? I took that one step towards my goal. Doesn't have to be a big one if you can't manage that today. The other thing that might be helpful is tying your new habit or your new routine, that thing that you want to accomplish, back to something that you already do. It just makes it a little easier. And I'm thinking about this because I had a conversation with my son yesterday, and he's just reseeded the back lawn, so he's waiting for the grass to grow. And, it does better if you get out there and you water it once in a while. Well, he's having a a hard time remembering to go and water the new grass seed. So I'm trying to help him like come up with a way that he will remember. And he drinks coffee. Imagine that. My son drinks coffee. So I said, Joe, why don't you do this? Why don't you just put a Post-it note on your coffee machine? Because we know for a fact you're going to pull that coffee machine out every single day. Put a little Post-it note on there that says, hey, when you're brewing coffee, also remember to turn on the sprinklers so that it will be watering your grass. That will work, right? Maybe you are the kind of person who needs an accountability partner. Like you can do it on your own, but it's easier for you if you have somebody else that's going to be holding you accountable. Okay, so what if you set up a virtual coffee date? I have a standing one. Every single Monday at 10 o'clock, I know that I'm going to be talking to my accountability partner. And so I want to have something that I can report to the positive when I have that coffee date with her on Monday morning. And same thing for her. I don't want to show up and go, yeah, I didn't do anything last week. So, it's not that it would make a difference to her, because it wouldn't, but it does make a difference to me. And knowing that I'm going to have to go in there every Monday and tell her what steps I've taken towards my goal keeps me motivated, and her too. And we're accomplishing a lot more by doing that. So that might be something that helps you. Again, I know we're all different, but just little tips and tools that I've used here. Rob inspires me each Wednesday morning to tackle the day. Yes, I love that. I love that. Okay, so I am teaching today. Pivot. I'm doing virtual class, which is awesome, but I am actually teaching for some folks in Hawaii today, so I'm dealing with a 5-hour time difference since I am in Nebraska. That's been really challenging too. I have to set an alarm clock in here and set it to the local time, because otherwise I'm always looking at the clock on my computer, and that's like 5 hours difference. Not going to work. So setting a clock in here for the local time is going to help me to do that, but I'm going to get off and see if I need to do anything specific to get ready for that class. I hope that you have a wonderful day. I hope that maybe this stream gave you just one thing that you can think about today and make a difference in setting goals for yourself for the rest of this year, and not only in setting them, but in being successful to them as well. Thank you to everyone that showed up. Kathy, good morning. Thank you to everyone that showed up live, and to everyone that is watching this later on the replay. Let me know that you were here. And if you have a special tip that you use to keep yourself on track, share it with the group. Let's help one another to get better at this. Have a great day, guys. Take care. Bye for now.